Good afternoon. Hi, I'm Paul Wood. I've been asked to present a pitch for a book that I'd read before, or a theatre show that I'd experienced or seen. This time I'd chosen a book which, once I'd read it, became a sort of a guilty pleasure for me towards the end. Funnily enough goes as such, my brother and I have a weird exchange of crappy or cheesy novelty gifts that we give each other every year for our birthdays. This year I happened to catch a nice little collection of which one was a very cheesy, and I'm quite sure you know it, a supermarket romance novel. In this case it was called Never Trust a Scoundrel by Gail Callan. Gail Callan is pretty much a master in this field. She's sold over 60 million copies with the Scoundrel series alone, which consists of 5 books, of which this is one. Yeah, she's pretty well renowned for this subject. Well, obviously, I had a bit of troubles actually taking it seriously in any way or seeing it as anything else than a novelty gift. Yeah, obviously because it's got the very sleazy, tacky cover, and you know it's going to be overwritten and just full of absolute dribble. But at one stage I was alone for a certain amount of time, long periods at a time, when I was hitchhiking to Berlin, and I started reading it. And to be absolutely honest, I could not put it down. It's sad but true. I just found it very addictive. I'll tell you a little bit about the story itself. The story is based on the character Daniel Throckmorton. Daniel Throckmorton, and Daniel Throckmorton is a rich man. He's a bit of a playboy. He's very arrogant, and he's also the scoundrel in the story. But yet again, he's also the hero. And he's put forth to a very cute, a very sweet, and almost virginesque young lady by the name of Grace Burnbury. And Grace Burnbury is, as I said, has a good reputation at home. And he's asked her if she would participate in a bet, an indecent proposal, if you will. He's offered her a large sum of money to resist his charms, so not to sleep with her, much as the film. But to actually resist his charm, because that's how arrogant he is. Well, during this wooing session, she does not realize that he has further intentions. He does not only intend on betting her, but he also intends to marry her and then prostitute her out to his wealthy and influential friends in exchange for certain favors and or money. Well, the friends are obviously very into this idea, but during the whole wooing session, Gail does fall for Daniel's charms. But yet again, Daniel also falls for Gail's sweetness and kind-heartedness. This gets him. This starts up the relationship, and obviously he has to cut off the bets. But this has dire consequences which come along with it. For his influential friends are very angry because expectancies have been raised and promises have been made, and they intend on taking her for themselves. Well, obviously, this has to be thwarted by any means possible, and a very heroic and selfless act on behalf of Daniel is what closes this romantic adventure. Well, obviously this sounds very overwritten once again, but you know, for someone like me, who's a bit of a closet romantic, you know, it's good for me because I can actually relate to it on my own personal level. Obviously not literally, but for someone who enjoys, you know, the unreclaimed romance, it's something which we can all relate to, I think, on a certain level. I mean, it's got everything in there. You have unrequited love, you have intrigue, you have selfless love, you have sacrifice. You have everything which is in there, and this is opinion coming from a man, but obviously I'm not the target group. The target group is quite obviously women, which actually got me thinking, you know, what makes it so enticing? What makes it so addictive? Well, I think it is pure romance. I think it's the importance of romance in our everyday lives, because romance is something which is so fleeting, like the striking of a match. It's like meeting someone for the first time and just being able to touch their hand for the very, very first time, feeling that new experience of physical contact. Or romance is also obviously the basis of all relationships and can keep people together, hopefully for all time. The ultimate romantic idea, forever and happily ever after. Unfortunately, not all everyday life seems to be this way. We're not all living in a fairy tale, but this doesn't make it unnecessary. So I'm quite sure people do want this, and you know, it could be that you've experienced it and it's fizzled away in the monotony of everyday life. I mean, you've got your mortgage, you've got your kids, you've got your job, you've got your school perhaps, And none of these things are exactly what you call a recipe for unbridled passion. But yet again, this does not mean that everyone doesn't secretly desire it. That you don't secretly desire to, I don't know, one day you sort of come home from a long, hard day at work, and you check your messages on your answering machine or your voicemail, and you come across, my love, I have but a few moments to talk to you, because I'm being shipped off to war at the moment. But all I need to do is hear your sweet angel-like voice, because I know that's the only thing that'll get my heart beating so fast that I can go through any hell and back again just to feel the warm touch of your hands. I mean, I'm quite sure people would like this. Well, you know, you could also imagine yourself on a daily basis at work, and you're drifting off or staring outside the window, and you turn back to your screen and you see your computer and you've opened your mails, and you see a name you don't know. And secretly you hoped that you might read something along the lines of, Mi amor, since the very first night where I met you, when you were stranded on my private beach, I shared such love with you. I did not ever want to lose you again. But unfortunately, my father is a very bad man. He said I could not see you again, so I had to assume a new identity. And after years of trying to find you, I finally found you, and now we can be together forever. Well, I understand this is quite cheesy, and I'm quite sure you do too. But those little, the essence of these things are something that we all enjoy. It's the essence of passion. It's the essence of romance. I mean, I enjoy it, you know, preferably from a woman, obviously, but maybe, just maybe, you might enjoy it too. I mean, maybe, whilst you're listening to my presentation, in which, you know, you might be drifting off into your own little world, into your own little sexy little daydream, in which the words that I'm speaking to you have nothing to do with
his strong, manly hands, slowly caressing the soft contours of her nude, expectant body. She shudders in expectation as each touch sends shivers over her silky skin, and the thought of her father, Lord O'Reilly, being able to discover them at a moment's notice only added to the excitement of their forbidden love. His hands were slowly but surely making their way back down.
To my point, which is that romance is something which lives on in our deepest desires, something which is subconscious. And this is something which I found to be a sort of written testament to this love, to this desire. I found that in these novels. It's every little bit of passion that you've had inside of you written for you. So you can relate to the characters, you can relate to being that person, having this selfish need for love and having someone unselfishly give it to you. Well, I definitely enjoyed it and released my inner romanticism. I hope you will too. And I'm sure the 12 million other buyers of the copies of this book will agree with you and me. Thank you very much for your time. Good night.